Hey, it's Justin Moore from Trending Family, and here are this week's top 5 trending news that are influencing families. So The Hill covered how Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos recently announced a $2 billion philanthropic fund to finance a new network of preschools and contribute to nonprofits assisting homeless families. So Bezos released a statement that said that the schools will be located in underserved communities. They'll use the same set of principles that has driven Amazon, and that most important among those is, genuine, intense customer obsession, and that the child will be the customer. And so a lot of people took issues with that wording, the child as the customer, especially on social media. But, this is an interesting time because, more and more billionaires are shaping our society in tech and in education and in media. Of course, Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, and that Mark Benioff of Salesforce fame recently purchased Time Inc. And so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. So Bloomberg talked about how one of YouTube's most popular brands has been purchased by a couple of entertainment industry veterans with ties to Disney and the Teletubbies. Their agency is called Moonbug, and the channel that they purchased is called Little Baby Bum. It's YouTube's 9th most watched channel, and I know this very well because my kids watch it. They've got a bunch of kids songs and nursery rhymes, and Harry Hugo, who runs the GOAT agency, estimated that the purchase price was between $8 and $10 million based on the assets and the views. And to be honest, this is pretty surprising, I think, right? It's the 9th most watched channel on YouTube, right? But I think it goes back to what a lot of publishers and larger influencers are saying, that it's really tough to grow and build a business on YouTube. And so I think what Hugo says is that we can expect to see a lot more of these types of roll-ups and consolidations with some of these larger YouTube channels who are probably going to get scooped up by some more traditional publishers and OTT platforms and television channel owners looking to get new audiences, or audiences have switched to this new platform. So CNBC talked about how the big winners after Toys R Us's demise are still Walmart and Target, but also stores like Costco. So Gordon Haskett Research Advisors partnered with data provider AlphaHat and surveyed more than 50,000 people who had shopped Toys R Us in July of last year and then shopped another retailer after Toys R Us closed, and they noted where people chose to shop otherwise. And so Walmart has been the biggest winner so far and captured 26% of lost Toys R Us traffic. Target got 14%, Dollar General and Dollar Tree captured 10%, and Costco got 8%. So it's pretty interesting. I think this is really the biggest retail story this year, and this will continue to play out through the holiday season. So The Drum had a great article which asked, is the influencer marketing bubble about to burst? They interviewed some great people, and Lars Silberbauer, who is the global director of social media and search at Lego Group, said that of course influencer collaborations are hyped, but it doesn't change the fact that millions of people all around the world are following and taking inspiration from influencers. He said he also finds that most brands still consider influencer collaborations as one-offs, right? And they're not trying to stimulate these kind of more protracted relationships with influencers. Of course, Lego has this really dedicated community, right? People who, they're building these amazing things with Lego, and that's kind of the focus of their content, but they're experimenting with other kind of ancillary channels, right? Parent influencers, right? These are people who are talking about the toys that they're buying for their kids, and it's pretty interesting advice for other brands, right? And instead of kind of solely focusing on what looking at it a little bit orthogonally and saying, okay, well, what other channels can we experiment with that might be just as effective? Skiff talked about how growing pains for influencer marketing is raising questions for travel brands. So a lot of brands, of course, are dedicating more and more of their marketing budgets towards influencers, but some are still questioning the ROI. And they talked about in this article how brands like Visit California created its Digital Influencer Advisory Board last year, which met with influencers to set guidelines for tracking ROI and developing these longer-term partnerships. So Carolyn Patetta, who is president and CEO of Visit California, said that both influencers and brands benefit from these longer-term partnerships rather than one-off programs, because when the wildfires ripped through California's wine country last year, they found that influencer marketing was one of the most effective ways to get out that message that we're still open for business, of course, right? And they said that the amount of followers that someone has on Facebook or Instagram is not the only KPI, right? They're looking at engagement, the quality of the content, and even how on brand they are with Visit California. So it's pretty important, I think, for other travel and hospitality brands to look at some of these other ways in terms of measuring ROI.